While we are pleased that the rate of collection is higher than in previous years, there are still, unfortunately, many cards that were not collected.
More than 6 million registered voters to be excluded from the 2023 election over non-collection of the permanent voters' cards.
It doesn't matter what reason anyone is given to carry illegitimate arms and harass others. The DSS and in fact with other security agencies will ensure that you are brought to book.
Electoral stakeholders sue for non-violent process as security agencies receive directive to deploy force where there are threats. Plus, troops intercept mastermind of Abuja Kaduna train attack. The details shortly. Hello and welcome to NTA Network News. I'm Cyril Stover in Abuja. Hingino John Adams joins me from Lagos. And you can follow this news live on our website, nta.ng live, NTA News Now, and other social media platforms displayed on the screen. President Muhammadu Buhari is in Daura, Katsina State ahead of the presidential and National Assembly elections on Saturday. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports that the president was received on arrival at Umaru Musa Yar'Adua Airport by a high-powered Katsina State government delegation led by Governor Aminu Bello Masari. Also at the airport to receive him were senior federal government officials, including the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Ambassador Ahmed Rufai Abubakar. Before leaving the airport, President Buhari inspected a ceremonial guard mounted by a detachment of the Nigerian Armed Forces. The president then proceeded to Daura, his ancestral home, via helicopter. On hand to receive him at Daura helipad was a powerful delegation from Daura Emirate Council, including the Emir Umar Farooq Umar. Prayers were offered for peace, unity and stability in the country. While in Daura, President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to exercise a civic responsibility by voting candidates of his choice during Saturday's presidential and National Assembly elections. Our security agencies have been directed to use force on any perceived threat to the 2023 general elections, while local security formations are advised to stay away from the electoral process. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that this was announced at a joint news conference at the Defense Headquarters, Abuja.
The police, military and the DSS meeting for a single agenda, that is to form a common front to tackle any likely security threat during the elections.
Whether you are Ojuju Kalaba, Ebubuegu, Vigilante, Amotekun or any Tekun, anything you call it. So far you are not a member of SS, you are not part of this election. And if you think you have the power to go out, you'll be arrested and death, which means you have an ulterior motive.
On the situation in the southeast, it doesn't matter what reason anyone is given to carry illegitimate arms and harass others. The DSS and in fact with other security agencies will ensure that you are brought to book. We have planned out strategies and ways to ensure that corps members are given adequate security.
This is not the first time we are, participating in elections. In 2015, I remember our troops participated in election duties in the northeast when there were no banks anywhere except in Maiduguri.
On the other side of the briefing, majorly for the Defense Headquarters, giving update on achievements in the past 2 weeks nationwide. 77 kidnapped victims have been rescued. 59 Boko Haram terrorists and 18 IPOP terrorists were eliminated during different combat operations.
The troops of Operation Wild Punch on 4th February 2023 responded to information on the presence of Boko Haram terrorists and Islamic State of West African province terrorists Kingpin at Damba community in Chukum local government area of Kaduna State. Subsequently, troops mobilized to the location and arrested 3 terrorists. One of the terrorists arrested was identified as one of the masterminds of the 20th March 2022 terrorist attack on the Abuja-Kaduna train services.
In the same vein, 61 illegal refining sites and 248 storage tanks were deactivated by troops of Operation Delta Safe in the South-South. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Ghali Baba, has ordered for restriction of all forms of vehicular movement on roads, waterways, and other forms of transportation from 12 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Election Day, with the exception of those on essential services. Force Public Relations Officer Olumuyiwa Adejobi, at a media briefing in Abuja, says the IGP's order is part of measures to ensure a safe, secure and conducive environment for the conduct of elections. The IGP urges the electorate to be law-abiding
sternly warns all security agents and escorts to desist from accompanying their principals and politicians to polling booths and collation centers during the election, as anyone found flouting this directive will be severely sanctioned.
The IGP urges the electorate to be law-abiding and to turn out en masse to exercise their franchise. He, however, warns that the force will deal decisively with any individual or group that might want to test the common resolve and might in ensuring peaceful elections.
For urges all members of the public to contact the Nigerian Police Force and the Joint Election Monitoring and Operation Room, domicile at the Force Headquarters Abuja.
While appealing to citizens to shun vote buying, vote selling, hate speech, misinformation, snatching of ballot boxes and other criminal acts, the IGP gives an assurance that the force and other security agencies will leave no stone unturned in ensuring that violators of extant laws are brought to book. We now join Musbah and Wahab in our Verdict 2023 studio for more stories on the general elections. Musbah.
Very much, yes. Thank you very much, Cyril. This is the countdown to Verdict 2023. Thanks a lot for joining us. We've got some updates for you. Now, at least 6.2 million registered voters will not participate in the 2023 general elections, as they were unable to collect their permanent voters' cards, PVCs. This was made known at the pre-election media briefing by INEC in Abuja. Mie Ogidi reports.
Unlike the 2019 pre-election media briefing, the 2023 edition is devoid of any anxiety. The INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, sounds optimistic. Things will go as planned.
And I'm also happy to say that the bulk of the small amount of cash that we have requested from the Central Bank of Nigeria is right now being released to the Commission's offices nationwide. And this has greatly facilitated the movement of sensitive materials yesterday from the branches of the Central Bank to our local government areas.
But a disturbing issue was raised. How many permanent voters' cards have been collected and the ones uncollected?
Before the end of this briefing, we shall make public a summary of the number of collected and uncollected PVCs in each state of the Federation.
As promised, before the end of the media chat, a pamphlet containing the PVC's distribution was given out. Out of 93.4 million permanent voters' cards, 87.2 million collected, 6.2 million uncollected. Level of collection by zonal analysis indicates that Northwest comes top, followed by Southwest, North Central, Northeast, South-South, and Southeast. While at the uncollected chart, Southwest top, then South-South, North Central, Northwest, Northeast, and Southeast. At the state level, Edo, Osun, and Kano states have the highest level of uncollected permanent voters' cards. The implication here is that 6.2 million registered voters who were unable to collect their permanent voters' cards for various reasons will not participate in the 2023 general elections. Their cards will be available for collection after the elections, when INEC commences the continuous voters registration exercise again. From the National Coalition Center, ICC, Abuja, Mie Ogede.
And as countdown to the 2023 general elections continues, NTA correspondent in Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State assessed the level of preparedness of the people of the state and some stakeholders in ensuring each free presidential and National Assembly elections in that state.
With the presidential and the National Assembly elections just around the corner, the people are eager to imprint their fingers on the ballot papers. For them, it is more than just exercising their franchise, as they are ready to make their voices heard as their own contributions to the development of the Nigeria of their dreams.
For me to go to my polling unit and vote,
I'm going out to vote because my house is different. I hate the quarters. Which Nigeria good? You don't wish for Nigeria bad, you wish for Nigeria good.
On that day, on Saturday, I have my PVC. I'll go to my polling booths and I will vote.
The earnest yearning of the people is to have a peaceful election where their votes will count. I am Tayo Osho. I will now hand you over to my colleague Ayodeji Ogunshaki, who will be telling us about the preparation of the media for the election coverage.
Thank you, Tayo. There is no gainsaying the fact that men of the fourth estate of the realm, journalists, are critical stakeholders in electioneering processes. Journalists in Ekiti State are not leaving anything to chance to ensure adequate coverage of the election.
We are prepared in accordance with the ethics of the profession, because we all told our people that we should work, that everyone of them should work according to the ethics of the profession. At the same time, for also told the police to ensure that our people are given adequate protection.
We need to be very objective, conduct ourselves properly so that we can get accurate data, event of what is happening in every looks and craning of the state so that we can report well.
Then we've been given necessary information that how to protect ourselves on the field and what to look out for when we are covering the election.
With the level of preparations by journalists in Ekiti State, Ekiti people and Nigeria, of course, should expect adequate reportage of the general election. My name is Ayodeji Ogunshaki, and I hand over to Olubukola Aduwo.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, here in Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State, says it is ready for the conduct of the election that will come up on Saturday, February 25, as all the logistics necessary for that election has been put in place. And as part of efforts to ensure a successful outing, the Commission trained 7 and ESCOM members that will serve as ad hoc electoral officials during the election. The resident electoral commissioner, INEC in the state, Professor Ayobami Salami, says the election we hold as planned, urging the people of the state to be calm and conduct themselves in an orderly manner before, during and after the elections.
I want to assure you by the grace of God, come Saturday this week, the election, the presidential election, and then the National Assembly election we hold. And by this time next week, the new president for the nation would have been declared, and the elected members of the National Assembly would have been declared.
With this assurance coming from the electoral umpire, it shows that the 2023 general elections will be each free and successful in Ekiti State. In Ado-Ekiti, Olubukola Aduwo, NTA News.
Thanks a lot, Olubukola, and indeed we hope it will be the same case across the country. Now, to talk about visa issues developing from this preparation for the 2023 general election, we have the Director of Voter Education from the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Victor Aluko, in the studio. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so earlier today, your principal, talking about the chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, talked about the readiness of INEC for this process. Now tell us, how ready is INEC?
Yes, As my chairman stated during the day, INEC is fully ready for the elections on Saturday.
How do you believe that?
Because we have done all we should. Our preparations are in top gear. We have sourced our officials. We have trained our officials, presiding officers, assistant presiding officers. We have sourced those who will be collation officers. We have trained them. We have sourced our materials, both sensitive and non-sensitive. We are deploying already to the various local government areas. We're going to activate our racks immediately. By tomorrow, all the presiding officers, all the staff presiding officers, assistant presiding officers, supervisory presiding officers will be fully in the registration area centers all over the country. There are 8,809 registration areas in the country, and there is a center in each one. And we will be there, we'll camp overnight, from where we will move to the polling units on election day, that's Saturday. We have done what we should. We've engaged in voter education. We have related with stakeholders. We have related with security agencies. We have signed a MOU with transport unions and organizations. We have signed contracts with owners of vehicles, owners of boats across the country. We have done mock accreditation to be sure of the spatial performance of weavers in every part of the country, in all senatorial districts in the country. So we are good to go.
All right, good. Good to hear that you're good to go indeed. The chairman of INEC told us about the number of voters who have been able to collect their PVC, so we'll get to that in a moment. But before this general election, you had an off-season election in some states, and you put beavers to test. And of course, you had a mock accreditation exercise. Can you share your experience with that, with us on that?
No, our experience is that the beavers machines have been performing the way they should, and we are quite happy. They'll be performing the way they should. We are happy, and we are ready to deploy them. There's no problem with the beavers machines at all. They are specially designed to enable us to stamp out any form of multiple voting, to prevent voter impersonation in our polling units, and to ensure that we institute one man, one vote in this country. And that's what we have been doing when we started deploying beavers machines. And that's what we'll do nationwide on Saturday. No issues with multiple voting. There will be no issues with voter impersonation, that is identity theft in any of our polling units. It will be one man, one vote. And at the end of the day, all the votes will be fully sorted and counted. And whoever Nigerians elect in all the various constituencies will be declared winner by INEC.
All right, thank you very much, Victor Aluko. We really appreciate your time, and we, indeed, all Nigerians will be expecting each free exercise on Saturday.
Thank you.
All right, Victor Aluko, Director of Voter Education from INEC. We appreciate your time, and that will be it on the countdown to Verdict 2023 on NTA. Cyril will continue with the news in just a moment, but for now, we'll take a break.
Thanks for staying with us. The federal government has directed the total closure of all land borders throughout Saturday, February 25th and Sunday, February 26, 2023. All controllers, particularly those at the border states, are to ensure strict enforcement of this directive. Building the capacity of 37,000 personnel on fact-checking techniques is part of the 5-year strategic work plan of the National Orientation Agency, and it has graduated course 8 in the series. Kenneth Nanim reports that the agency has taken the sensitization campaign to the streets of Abuja preparatory to the general elections.
The presidential election date is now counting down in hours, and the message is still the same. Do not spread fake news, hate speeches, and other unguided utterances especially on the social media platforms. As usual, the National Orientation Agency is urging the public to desist from such trend, especially now that the elections are at hand.
You drop one wrong message, and it goes viral within minutes. Pause, verify, check, ask questions, interrogate intent of those who are putting out these messages.
The agency is also enlightening the public on the electoral process and the need for peaceful conduct during the polls.
Let them know that these elections should be devoid of all forms of electoral malpractices. We don't want thuggery, so that at the end of the day we have the better Nigeria that we all yell for.
For Nigeria to experience a smooth transition of government as desired, the messages are also emphasizing collective responsibility. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
The First Lady of Nigeria and Grand Patron Tinubu Shettima Women and Youth Presidential Campaign Team, Aisha Buhari, has urged Nigerian women to come out en masse to vote for the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his running mate, Kashim Shettima, and all other APC standard bearers in the forthcoming presidential election for continuity, peace, and development. The First Lady made the call during the distribution of bags of rice to women at the grassroots in the 11 electoral wards of Daura senatorial zone. State House correspondent Aliu Kabir reports that the First Lady, who expressed appreciation to women in Daura for their tireless support to the Buhari administration all along, promised to continue to remain a pillar of support to them even after the tenure of President Muhammadu Buhari. During the symbolic presentation of the item, the First Lady urged them to sustain the confidence in the All Progressives Congress and its presidential candidate, assuring them that they will continue to benefit from more dividends of democracy if Tinubu and Shettima are elected in Saturday's presidential election. The wife of Katsina State Governor, alongside the grassroots politician and mobilizer Sani Wali, as well as other beneficiaries, expressed appreciation for the gestures of the First Lady since the beginning of the present administration and assured her of their commitment to the victory of the presidential candidate of the APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And 48 hours to the presidential election, supporters of the All Progressives Congress are reaching out to the electorate to sell the candidate of the party, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Community Support Directorate of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, Abdullahi Ahmed May Agogo, was in Minna, Niger State to interface with stakeholders to work out a strategy for the success of the party. Supporters of the governing All Progressives Congress met at the UK Bello Square in Minna to discuss issues that will lead the APC to victory on Saturday the 25th. Well, other speakers pledged to explore the time left to mobilize massive voters for the APC in all the elections, not only in Niger State, but the country at large. And the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Bola Tinubu, says his campaign tour around the country has further enabled him to appreciate the various developmental programs and policies constituting the achievements of the Buhari administration. In a statement personally issued by him, the ruling party's presidential candidate confirms the realities of various programs, including infrastructure development and social intervention programs, which he believes millions of poor and vulnerable people have benefited from. Bola Tinubu says his experience and achievements as a former governor of Lagos State and that of his running mate with a similar record in Borno State have prepared them to demonstrate their capacity for hard work and dedication on a national scale to bring prosperity to all Nigerians. He reassures that if elected, the administration would work to ensure not just a farewell to poverty, but also usher in an era of prosperity in the country. Tinubu urges the Nigerian electorate to turn out in large numbers on Saturday to vote for him and his running mate on the platform of the APC. In the meantime, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, says it is ready for the 2023 elections. This is coming from the PDP Presidential Campaign Council through its Director of Voter Intelligence and Strategy, Osita Chidoka, at a media briefing in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
The 2023 general elections will commence with the Presidential and National Assembly on Saturday, 25 February. The election, according to the PDP Presidential Campaign Council, will be the first conducted with the rules set by the recently signed Electoral Act and to be implemented by INEC.
INEC has also repeatedly assured us that Saturday's election will be free and fair.
The National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Daura, in a media briefing emphasized that Atiku Abubakar is a pan-Nigerian who deserves citizens' votes.
Last Saturday, the grand finale of our presidential campaign rally held in Yola, Adamawa State. The unprecedented crowd and the excitement that Nigerians from across the country demonstrated beyond measure that majority of the people have settled for Atiku Abubakar.
Meanwhile, some group of youth under the banner of APC Northern Youth have resolved to work for the victory of the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar.
We are going back to our various polling units as we agreed nationwide. By the special grace of God, we are going to deliver Atiku and the vice president.
Another group, One Nigeria, has similarly endorsed the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party.
He has never been associated with any of the secessionist organizations or anything that has got to do with ethnocentrism or otherwise.
The group enjoined Nigerians to discharge their civic duty in the most civilized way. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has condemned the killing of the party's senatorial candidate for Enugu East, Mr. Oyebochukwu, on Wednesday by yet-to-be-identified gunmen. Mr. Obi says the brutal killing of Chukwu and his supporters on Wednesday is barbaric, inhuman, and senseless. The Labour Party presidential hopeful says he is devastated by the killings and calls on security agencies and the Enugu state government to do everything possible to fish out the killers. He appeals to everyone to stand up against criminals who are an insignificant part of the greater peace-loving Nigerians, while urging people in the southeast as well as election officials not to be deterred or frightened from participating in the forthcoming elections. Obi condoles with the families of those killed and prays that God in his infinite mercy would grant their souls eternal rest. Let's now go over to Hingino in our Lagos studio for more reports on network news. Hingino.
Thank you, Cyril. The Nigeria Police Force has reiterated commitment to provide adequate security during and after the coming general elections using ethics of professionalism. This was emphasized in Lagos when the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of Southwest Nigeria, Johnson Kokumo, met with top officers of the force. Lanre Milei has details.
Securing lives and property during and after the coming election remains uppermost in the minds of the Nigerian police. This crucial goal informed this meeting between the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of Southwest and senior officers, heads of units and stations of this force. He reminded the officers to take a political stance, refrain from using excessive force, and to uphold the rights of citizens in the discharge of their duty.
The members of the public were supposed to protect. We should not turn our arms against defenseless members of the public. We must be civil.
Deployments to cover 100 points, flash points, just to make sure that this
security space remains stable.
The DIG emphasized the importance of strong collaborations with other sister security agencies during the elections. In Lagos, Larry Bilayi, NTA News.
Away from election matters now, Nigeria's leading food and agro-allied group, Flour Mills of Nigeria PLC, has rewarded 3 innovative local businesses with different cash prizes in the second season of its annual prize for innovation competition. Ruth Ario Samuel reports.
Target medium high income earners and corporate institutes, hotels, restaurants, schools, NGOs.
The cooking energy crisis is not just a Nigerian problem.
After a highly competitive pitch session, Eugene Olumese of Oshomogbegbe Global Ventures Limited emerged the grand prize winner of 5 million naira for the design and fabrication of highly efficient solar dryers. Eugene of OGV! Musa Ali of Palmark Syndicate Limited, with the innovative idea of producing tomato powder from tomato fruit, and Damilare Ogundipe of Indigo Farms and Bioresources, involved in production of cassava residue pellets for animal feeds, were second and third. Sadiq Usman, Director, Group Strategy and Stakeholder Relations, assured the winners of access to mentorship, training, partnerships, and other resources to help them further develop and commercialize their solutions targeted at feeding the nation and investing in attaining Nigeria's food self-sufficiency goals.
In this environment where there are not many people that are making equipment such as yours or labor-saving devices, it's important that you put forward your strength, particularly when you're presenting or speaking to people. Your manufacturing bias and your strength in manufacturing, you shouldn't be proud not to put that in front.
Flour Mills of Nigeria Prize for Innovation Season 2 is part of efforts of the brand to enrich the lives of Nigerians across their various points of needs and promote the development of local content and innovation in the country's food industry to drive economic growth. In Lagos, Ruth Ario Samuel, NTA News.
Time now for some messages, but before then, do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates.
Well, we're back with the rest of the news now. History will be made on Saturday, February 25th, as Nigerians will line up in their numbers to exercise their franchise in determining the next president and legislators for the next 4 years. Now, one critical question is how ready the citizens are to perform their civic duties. Tekla Wilkie tells us more.
Barely 36 hours to the much-anticipated general election, it appears institutions and stakeholders involved in the electoral process are ready to play their part in this watershed moment. Reports indicate that the security agencies are on top of their game, while the electoral umpire, INEC, is also making efforts to crossing the T's and dotting the I's in ensuring the exercise is credible and seamless. Various political parties are also strategizing to meet the desired target, with some exploring measures and partnerships to better their chances at the polls. The question, therefore, is how ready the citizens are for the electoral exercise.
In fact, I'm ready. This is my power. And I'm ready to exercise it. With conscience, I'm ready to give my vote to a credible candidate. Credible candidate. I will not vote according to religion, and I will not vote according to region, or I will just put sentiment aside and vote credibility, so that the issue of good governance will not be surface in Nigeria.
The level of awareness of the different candidates, identification of party logos, and knowledge of thumb printing of the ballot paper remain critical to getting it right on election day.
You will use this your hand. May not touch this thing inside.
I am too old to be young. I know how to vote. I voted before. In the past, I voted. And I know that you have to vote within the box, and you should not allow the ink to spread to other distance so that the vote will not be a void vote.
The moment you locate your party, you make sure you thumbprint in exactly place that the ink will not extend to another box, because once it extends there, it means your vote will be invalid.
I expect that Nigerians will come out in mass to vote the candidates of their choice.
It is expected that the moment will indeed be a decisive one for the people and a defining moment for Nigeria's democratic milestone. In Abuja, Fekla Wilkie, NTA News.
Well, preparations towards ensuring that the nation records the credible presidential and National Assembly elections on Saturday have intensified with the distribution of sensitive and non-sensitive electoral materials in different states by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Mamso Demiandechi compiled reports from our correspondents on the exercise from some of the states.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Nasarawa State, has inspected and distributed sensitive electoral materials to the 13 local government areas for presidential and National Assembly elections in the state. Issa Mohammed reports that the exercise was witnessed by agents of political parties, security agencies, and election observers.
And the government is not leaving any stone unturned to ensure that the election comes and goes peacefully.
From Ibadan, Oye Yika Omole reports that sensitive materials needed have been dispatched to all the 33 local government areas of Oyo State.
Had the full complement of our non-sensitive materials. And as I speak, we have sorted it out.
And now, a report by Moses Ode in Makurdi says INEC has inspected sensitive electoral materials deployed to Benue State ahead of the elections.
They are already batched into local governments. So we are going to see them local government by local government.
The 17 local government areas of Yobe State have received sensitive and non-sensitive materials ahead of these Saturday's polls. Mustafa Yusuf reports that the INEC resident electoral commissioner has also assured residents of security cover.
All these arrangements that we have made for voting by the displaced people is on the advice of the excess and the security operatives.
And in Ogun State, preparation for Saturday's presidential and National Assembly elections is gathering momentum as the electorate express optimism to exercise their franchise, while the Independent National Electoral Commission puts finishing touches to their preparation, as reported by Lekon Agonde.
Strategizing and strategizing on the way forward to ensure that elections in Ogun State will be devoid of rancor.
Caution those who might be thinking or planning any form of violence.
And now from Calabar, Maureen Leo Ajam reports that the Beavers machines were distributed from INEC's office in Calabar
to take delivery of the electoral materials for the press to see and examine that there is no foul play.
Special provisions have been made for registered voters among the internally displaced persons across Zamfara State, with a view to ensuring that they are not disenfranchised during the general polls, as reported by Jamilu Ibrahim.
Three major roads from Gusau to all the 14 local governments. The shortest one is from Chabe to Gusau. That local government, the vehicle to convey the sensitive materials will take it directly from the Gusau here in Central Bank.
In Abuja, Mamso Damien Ati, NTA News.
Taking a step from all the politics now, troops of the Nigerian military have arrested 3 terrorists at Damba community in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State, linked to the 2022 Abuja-Kaduna train attack. In a media briefing by the Defense Media Operations, one of the arrested terrorists confessed to being one of the masterminds behind the March 28, 2022 Abuja-Kaduna train attack, in which at least 8 people died and some passengers were held hostage for months before they were rescued by the Nigerian military. Time now to do some business with Benny Adams. Benny?
Thank you and welcome to Business. Start by telling you that the Central Bank of Nigeria says the e-Naira platform is a reliable channel of electronic payment systems Nigerians can adopt as a means to cushion the effect of the present cash crunch being experienced as a result of the Naira redesign policy of the Apex Bank. The system of cash transfer, which enables seamless fund of wallet with vouchers and transfer from wallet to bank account, officials of the Apex Bank say is safe from hackers.
Able to transact on the e-Naira with 4 methods. You could scan to pay, you could use your wallet ID. That's when you're on board on the e-Naira. It gives you a 10-digit number, and of course you could use the USSD string, and that USSD string *997# is available for everyone with a mobile phone. Your settlement is instant, meaning that you get value for your money instantly. The transaction is swift, no network failure, no reverse transaction or truncated transactions.
So, and we have private network connections with the servers of the e-Naira, that's CBN servers. So there is no way of hacking in that system. So, as I said earlier, we have 99.99% assurance of safety on our platform.
And taking a look at the market, Nigerian stocks hit new high ahead of the elections. This is as investors gain 180 billion naira on the back of the market appreciating by 0.61%. At the end of today's trading session, a total of 142.036 million shares in 2,651 deals, corresponding to a market value of 1.8 billion naira, were traded. Compared with previous trading day Wednesday, today's data shows 9% improvement in volume, 53% decline in turnover, and 1% decline in deals. The current market capitalization is 29.8 trillion naira. United Bank for Africa recorded the highest volume of 32.4 million traded shares, followed by Cordville, Business Solutions, and Zenith Bank. Well, that is business news, but network news continues after this break.
The PDP Independent Grassroots Campaign Council for Atiku Okowa 2023 has continued with its grassroots mobilization at Jeddah, the hometown of the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar. Nafisatu Abdulhamid Dembos reports that the engagement is to ensure that the PDP delivers in the forthcoming elections.
Jeddah local government area of Adamawa State in recent times is witnessing political engagement in an effort to ensure its son, the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, emerged victorious during the presidential elections. The PDP Independent Grassroots Campaign Council also took its grassroots mobilization to Jeddah to ensure the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar did not only win in his hometown, but Adamawa State and Nigeria as a whole. The chairperson, Independent Grassroots Campaign Council for Atiku Okowa, Ambassador Fatima Mohammed Goni, while addressing teaming PDP supporters, said, "A vote for Atiku Abubakar is a vote against hunger, insecurity, and underdevelopment in the country."
If Atiku wins in the coming elections, women from grassroots will not regret.
The council also donated 1,005 kilograms bags of rice and 1,400 pieces of wrappers to women in the area. In Yola, Nafisatu Abdulhamid Dembos, NTA News.
That report concludes Network News tonight. Thank you for watching.